How's it going, guys? Welcome back to the channel. So today I just wanted to go through a quick roundup of this weekend's games in the Champions Cup. We've had some absolute smashing games like the Sharks versus Toulouse yesterday. We've had games like Leinster versus La Rochelle today, which was, pretty hard fought game. And yeah, let's take a little look through and go through each one. Starting off the weekend on Friday with Glasgow Warriors versus Racing 92. Glasgow came on top with 29, well, beating Racing 29-12 with tries from Horn, Doby, Cancelliere, Tuipalutu, and Dodge. Racing coming with Habosi, Mazibuko, and Teda. Personally, wasn't necessarily the best of games, but it was worth a watch. I did catch parts of it, but I can't say I watched the entire game. All around, pretty good game from what I could see in the highlights, and a good way to start off this weekend. Then we have the Stormers versus Sale Sharks. Now, this one was just an absolute slaughtering. Absolute slaughtering. We're talking 40-0. The Stormers really came out on top. So we have tries from Schikkeling, Libok, Sitole, Galant, De Vet, and Venter. Manny Libok surprisingly converting quite well. And then a conversion by Duplessis on the 47th. So that was an absolute smasher of a game. We have Exeter versus Bordeaux. Oh, another one, 69-17. This was an absolute spanking. The rugby that was on play from Bordeaux was just sublime. You could see why they're doing so well in the top 14. They are one of the teams that are to be feared in the Champions Cup because you do not know what is coming. And when you have Bielbiere in your squad, this guy, he's the real life Flash. There's no catching this guy, right? But not only that, the play was brilliant. We had tries. So let's start off with Exeter, 17 points. Only managing 17, to be found quite surprised. They managed that. So you had tries from Brown, Bampo, 8th minute, 48th minute, then Hammersley on the 70th. Only one of them being converted by Slade. And then Bordeaux. So you have Luku. He scored on the 10th and 31st minute. Pinot, 15th minute, 44th minute, 77th minute. What a game he had. Bielbiere, that again, 36th minute, 62nd minute. This guy's a beast. Lamotte, Cesaro, Jalibert. I'm so happy to be seeing Jalibert play. This guy, he's an absolute monster, and he's so scary to play for France. So I'm really looking forward to the Six Nations. The Six Nations is going to be so good. And then I'm going to absolutely butcher this guy's name. Les Gorges? Les Gorges? I don't know. He scored on the 66th minute. Conversions straight through Jalibert. 11th, 16th, 32nd, 56th, 63rd, 64th, and 78th minute. Wow. Talk about racking up points. Again, brilliant game. I mean, we just look at Bordeaux's, like, what they've been doing. Exeter, they just beat 69-17. Stade Francais, they've just beat 46-19. Toulon, they just beat 21-17. Castres, 13-3. Ulster, 14-19. Leicester, 42-28. If that is not a team in form, I don't know what the hell is. Bordeaux are scary. And they're definitely going to be the ones to watch, because you got to think the form that they're playing in Bordeaux, in top 14 as well. They are scary. Definitely the ones to watch. Definitely the ones to watch. And I think they are going to be the dark horses of this Champions Cup, because everybody's expecting Toulouse to win, potentially Leinster to win. Bordeaux, if you got some extra money laying around, I'd say pop some on them. they could definitely surprise you. Moving on to Sharks versus Toulouse, I made a video about this. Definitely go check it out. It's well worth a watch. But the Sharks just did not show up. Horrible performance by the Sharks. They just crumbled. Toulouse showed why they are Toulouse, why they are so dominant. You know, you had players like Intermac, you had players like Dupont, Ramos, you know, Kinghorn. They 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 full of stars, and they showed why they're one of the best and quite possibly the best club in the world. They shut down the Sharks in their own home, which is not easy to do in those weather conditions. Like I heard, if you watch the game, the phrase "handling a ball like soap" makes sense. Um, thank God they weren't in prison, because otherwise a lot of them would well and truly be yeah. So good game, don't get me wrong, absolutely fantastic game. As a Sharks fan, I hated it. There are a lot of Toulouse people that I'm pretty certain they went out for a couple of drinks after that and absolute balled, but well done, Toulouse. Like, goddamn, well done. Then we go on to Leicester versus Ulster. Leicester coming away with a 38-10 win. Tries from Bassett, a hat trick of tries, 18th, 42nd, and 61st. Hassel Collins, 49-52. Parisi, 63. Conversions, two of them by Pollock. Two by Pollock, 19th and 53. Stewart, 62. And Shilcock, 64th minute. Ulster, however, only got a try from Timoney on the 9th minute, and they got a conversion by Doak and then a penalty by Doak as well. You could see how Leicester really pulled their socks up, because when you give Ulster those initial bits of play, right, and they start getting that momentum, it's very hard to nullify them. Leicester did very well in nullifying them early on, hence that try on the 18th minute by Bassett, and then consistency. They just made sure that they were consistent throughout. As you can see by the run of tries throughout, right? I mean, yeah, Ulster haven't exactly been the best of late. Like, they've actually been pretty horrible. We look at their last six. So they lost to Leicester 38-10. They beat Connacht 17-7, but then they lost to Munster 19-22. They lost to Bordeaux, heavy loss, 40-19. Toulouse 61-21, 61-21. And then they lost to Leinster 27-20. So Ulster really have not been on the best of form. But to be fair, neither have Leicester. They've been very much up and down. They're very much like the Saints at the moment. You don't know which kind of squad you're going to get on any given day. But brilliant game. So we had Exeter, Bordeaux, Sharks, Toulouse, Leicester versus Ulster. That was Pool 1. Pool 3, we had Munster versus the Saracens, a very hard fought game. Again, this is only something that I managed to catch highlights on. To me, it looked like an absolutely banger of a game. Heavy hits. But we have Munster winning 17-12, tries from Munster. Blula, God forgive me for that one. On the 60th minute, Hodnett on the 64th, and then conversions from Crowley on the 61st and 66th minute, and then a penalty from Crowley on the 26th minute. Saracens came in with just straight penalties. They didn't even get a try, and Saracens, they normally find a way into that end zone. They were nullified. They could only get points through penalties. So they had Lazowski with 2nd, 11th, and 70th minute, and then Daly with the 46th minute penalty as well. Look, Munster managed to really put that pressure on the Saracens, which is not easy to do, and came away with that win. But again, you look at both sides, they're very up and down. As you can see, they beat the Saris 17-12. They lost to Leinster just before New Year, 28-7. They beat Ulster 22-19, but to be fair, it's not that hard to beat Ulster nowadays. They lost to Castres 16-14. They beat Stade Francais 33-7. That was a brilliant performance. And then they beat the Lions 17-10. You look at the Sarries' last 6, they just lost to Munster. They're coming off of a win, which is actually a really hard fought and well played win up against Bristol, 35-26. They lost to Bath. Like, Bath just gave them an absolute spanking, 68-10. If you want to see some bloody tries, and you want to see just an amazing performance, go watch the highlights on that game. Go watch those highlights. Wow. Bath put a bloody lesson in place there. They then beat Northampton 39-24, beat Stade Francais 28-17, and then they beat the Bulls 27-5. So, been a bit shaky of late, but it's understandable. It's understandable. And then we go, yes, so Pool 3, Munster Saracens, Stade Francais, Northampton. This is one game, obviously Northampton did not come with a full strength squad. There was a bit of illness and injuries, but again, this is another video that I have made, so if you guys do want to check that out, it is public right now. Again, brilliant game. I feel the Saints did a little bit too little, too late. They weren't able to keep up. The second half was just dominated by Stade Francais. That physicality really put them on point. And then last but not least, Castres versus Bulls. I always hate to see South African sides lose, but Castres really put in a performance today. 49-10. We have tries from Palace on the 18th. I'm going to horribly pronounce this guy's name, but I read it Baguette. But I'm pretty certain it's like Beget or something like that. He scored tries on the 64th, 74th, and 79th. Dumora, 71st. And then Goodhue, 76th. Conversions from Fernandez, 19th, 65th. Populin, 72nd, 77th, and 80th minute conversions, with a hat-trick of penalties from Fernandez. 32nd minute, 46th minute, and 58th minute. Again, putting in that dominant performance. The Bulls could not keep up. But this is the thing, going to French teams in France, very difficult thing to do. Bulls, they only managed one try, and that was Vessels in the 7th minute. Got converted by Chamberlain on the 8th, and then Van der Walt was a penalty on the 54th. The Bulls, they started off strong, as you can see. What happened? They got found out, and next thing you know, tries are just coming in, heavy. So again, this is a game that I didn't physically watch because I was watching all the other games. I wasn't able to keep up with everything. I will be watching the games once they become full and available. But I don't have like 20 TVs just lying around playing rugby all day long. We look at the Castres last 6, so they beat the Bulls obviously 49-10. They beat Pau 24-19. That was a hard-fought game. They lost quite heavily to Bayonne 33-12. They lost very narrowly, which is they lost narrowly 13-3 to Bordeaux. Like right now, keeping Bordeaux away from that try line is very difficult, and not many people are able to actually do it. So to only have 13 points scored against you, that is a feat on its own, right? Doesn't matter that they couldn't get a try, they really couldn't do anything, but they managed to keep Bordeaux out. They beat Munster 16-14, and then they had a heavy loss to Northampton 38-8. But then you look at the Bulls. Now, like I say, I hate seeing South African teams lose, but Bulls are really just going downhill like there's no bloody tomorrow. So Castres 49-10. They lost to the Sharks 2017. They lost to Northampton 30-21. They lost to Sarries 27-5. They beat Connacht 28-14, and then they beat Benetton 27-15. 15. This was pretty heavy fought game, but still, the Bulls just they're going downhill. They're going downhill. Now we move on to today, right? Today is just we had some brilliant games on play today. So Bristol versus Benetton, 35-29. Bristol coming in strong. It was a hard fought game, like a really hard fought game. I caught this here and there, but Benetton was just controlling that dominant, especially in the late second, well, the second half, the second part of the first half, it was just pure Benetton. It was just pure Benetton. But obviously the floodgates just ended up opening after that. So we had tries from Williams on the 8th minute, Marmion 18th, 58th, Lahif 44th, Thacker 52 or 52nd, and then conversions from Byrne 9, 19, 45, 53, and 59th minute. Bristol, that's the thing, when Bristol get going, they really get going, and they're very difficult to stop throughout. So they are very difficult to stop. Benetton tries from Smith on the 14th, Zuliani 23rd, Gallagher 40th, Bernasconi 64th, Menoncello 69th, and then conversions from Albonoth 24th and 65. So they weren't exactly very good in terms of their kicking for conversions, which this game actually would have been completely different if they were actually able to convert these, because you got to think they only managed to convert Zuliani and Bernasconi's tries. How much of a different game would it be if they managed to convert Smith, Gallagher, and Mononcello's tries? I mean, that's 2, 4, 6. If they had to convert those tries, they would have been 35-35, right? That could have shifted the game completely, like completely. We then have La Rochelle versus Leinster. I caught part of the game, only part of the game. Prendergast, he was on point again. He's good kicking, and obviously they got one try. So Leinster got a try from McCarthy, 30th minute. Prendergast converted that, and then he ended up finishing off 3 penalties, 11th minute, 50th minute, and 55th minute. La Rochelle, they only got a try from Lades on the 66th minute, but penalties from Hastoy, 4th minute, 26th minute, and the 60th minute as well. This was a difficult game. This was a very difficult game. Like I said, again, I managed to catch in like little bits and pieces from here and there because that's what I could. That was a hard fought game. Heavy hits, good plays, but damn, they've got some really heavy hits. Bath and then Clermont. Bath again coming in. Bath are just in this ridiculous vein of form where they seem practically unbeatable. They just don't mess about. They beat Clermont 40-21. Tries from de Glanville, second minute. Russell, 7th minute. Kokana Siga, 27th minute. Dutoit, that's Thomas Dutoit, 49th to 57th minute. Then Lawrence on the 72nd. Conversions by Russell, 3rd, 8th, 28th to 50th, 73rd minute. Clermont, they got tries from 3 people. So Fanga'a, Bello, and Yato. Then all 3 were converted by Bello. It's difficult for Bath because they've been very much back and forth, but when they are on form, they are bloody on form. So that is our weekend's roundup of every single game that has happened in the Champions Cup. I want to know what your thoughts are for your team. Who do you support? Were you happy with the result that you got? Personally, like not at all. For the Saints, hence my name, and the Sharks, which it was kind of like the Sharks were trying to take a toothpick to Mount Everest and hoping to knock it down. But still, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Comment section below. Please like and subscribe, as it really does help my channel grow. And I just want to provide you guys with the best content. So on that note, I'll catch you guys in the next one. Prepare for the next game for the next weekend of rugby, and it's just every day it's one step closer to that Six Nations.